All right, we will go ahead and kick it off. Welcome everyone to another Thrive webinar brought to you by the AIS. We've been doing these every other week or so for the past couple of months, learning all sorts of things, talking to so many different people. And tonight we are featuring our AIS advocacy committees and the members of the Advocates program to talk to you about all of the work they've been doing so far this year and the work they're going to be continuing to do. And you'll get a chance to go into breakout rooms and talk to them all about their experiences and how you can get involved in the future. So I will kick it right off with our AIS advocates. We have Moid, Warda, Rodney, and Victor.
All right, so I guess I'll kick us off for the advocates. So here's all of us. How fun, thank you. Yeah, so I'll start us off. I'm Moid Ali, a third-year architecture student at Illinois Tech. And this year, my topic for the program is environmentalism. So what have I been doing? So throughout this year, roughly once a month, give or take, I've been using a blog post to talk about different topics pertinent to the environmental movement or environmentalism as a whole. So I started off going pretty broadly with different activist groups you can get involved with, then moving a little more into niche topics each month. So looking at privilege in the movement. During the election, I looked at Biden's climate plan, and then some ways how you can get involved in talking to people in the movement. So next week, I'll release another blog post about how the environmental movement started, sort of the origins of the movement. So look forward to that. So my future plans for this semester, or the rest of my term, is continue making blog posts related to the environmental movement or environmentalism. So if you have any ideas or anything you want to see, send it to me. And then at the end, hopefully I'll release a little guide on how to be an environmentalist sort of thing, working title, but sort of culminating everything I've kind of learned this year into one document and share that. Next, I'll pass it on to Victor.
Hello everyone, my name is Victor. I attend the University of Colorado Boulder, and my topic that I was addressing as an advocate this year was justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion in architecture. So how did I go about doing this? Next slide, Moy. And so with my topic, I created a series of conversations titled RTT, where I interviewed BIPOC folk throughout the whole spectrum of design, not only asking them about their successes and upbringings, but also asking them about what other measures and better practices should be implemented within architecture and design to create a more equitable and diverse field. Next slide. So one of the people that I interviewed was actually Dee. She's a part of Design as Protest and a part of other initiatives that have taken part in creating a more equitable and diverse practice. And so on the right, you just see some notes, kind of what we talked about and highlight in our conversations. And all of these conversations are available on AIAS audio experience. And so next slide, more. So going forward, I have a series of other conversations lined up. I'm sure that y'all recognize this person on the screen, but I had the opportunity of interviewing her and asking her what her ideas are and what other great initiatives are taking place in the spectrum of design. And so I'm just continuing these conversations as my time comes to an end as an advocate, but I will continue advocating for these topics in the future. So next slide is just my contact information if you're interested in these conversations or wanted to take part in them. So I will now hand it off
You can have it back after I'm done with it.
Wow.
Hello, I'm Rodney Jordan. I am also a third year, but at Oklahoma State University. My topic for my position is sustainable building methods. Um, I don't know how to go to the next slide. So, and then that's just an answer slide. What's popping? Not much apparently. Um, so I focus on interviewing people who are doing research into sustainable building materials. So we have two interviews so far. One's with Doris Song, an architect and a professor and researcher based in the Southern California area. Does really cool work with thermal bimetals, which is basically two different metals um, in a sense welded together um, that react to the sun. And then we have Jay Yao, who is also a professor and researcher. He's at my school, at Oklahoma State, and he's researching into mycelium bricks. We'll have more interviews. Hopefully, I'll find out soon. I have no idea. Next slide, I think. Where I get into my future plans. Yeah. Uh, just general, more topics, maybe more diverse things. I'm not sure. I'll plan to keep the podcast going. Um, so yeah, I'll give it to Warda now.
Hi guys, my name is Wordy and my topic of advocacy is a right to education. So what I've been up to is I started researching how architects can be a resource for underprivileged children in third world countries and how they can build and give these children free education and build schools. And so when I started my research, I quickly realized that not a lot of research has been done on this topic, and it quickly brought me to a halt because there were so many little details going into this topic. Like, you can't just build a free school. It just isn't possible. You have to get involved with the government, and there's all of these like little specifics that you have to go into. So I decided to broaden my topic a little bit more and start focusing in on humanitarian volunteering and the emphasis of that within architecture, because I believe architecture firms can start emphasizing that more within their practices. And so I started connecting with some of these organizations like Build Abroad, Journeyman International, Project H, and I started connecting with architecture firms as well that focus on humanitarian volunteering. And I'm accumulating a list of all these organizations. And if you want to move to the next slide, yeah. So I'm gonna continue working with these organizations because ultimately I want to actually volunteer with them and then put together a series, like a guide of sorts, on how we as architects can emphasize humanitarian volunteering, why it benefits us, why it benefits society, pros and cons, and continuing my research, hopefully put together a mission trip with AIAS. I hope to continue working with them and take a team after COVID, yes. So you can connect with me on my Insta, and that's my email as well. And then on the next slide, I want to talk about my advocates experience, actually all of our advocates experience, and the rest of the advocates can jump in over here as well. It's been such a great program. I got to know myself so much more. Like, you have no idea. You get to know how you manage your time, what you focus on when you research. It's unbelievable. It's such an amazing platform to start doing your research because before this, I did not even know where to start. And then I joined the Advocates program, and it gave me this plethora of networking and connections. And every time I email someone, I just say that I'm with AIAS, and they immediately know American Institute of Architecture students, which is amazing. You get to know your topic specifics. Like I said, you think that you want to research one thing, but then there's all these little details that you want to research and focus on too. So there's a lot of details, and then you start like connecting everything together. And also you get to meet like-minded people. You get to meet your fellow advocates. Get to meet all the members and connect with them and talk to them. So many people have reached out to me to talk about my topic, to talk about their experiences. So you really get to connect with everyone. It's such a great experience, such a great program. I would highly recommend, 10 out of 10 would recommend joining. The deadline is March 31st. The application is up on AIAS.org, so would highly recommend joining the program. Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you all. And thank you, Warda, for that great plug. I don't even have to do one myself, although I will anyway, of course. Yeah, if anyone interested in our Advocates program, it is an opportunity to speak loud and make your voice heard. And the AIS provides an opportunity for you to use our social media platforms, the website, our podcast platform. We want to do what we can to help you advocate for what you're passionate about. So as Warda said, applications are due by March 31st. I dropped the link in the chat. So check it out, and you can always email us if you have any questions. So next, we will hear from the first of our AIS advocacy committees. You may have seen some of their work a couple weeks ago during Advocacy Month on the AIS Advocacy Instagram. We're starting off with the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force.
Yes, awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen. Also, as I'm doing that, I also was part of the Advocates program 2 years ago, like a year ago, and it's a great program, so I suggest you all apply. Anyway, hello on behalf of the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force. You're going to hear a little bit from me. I'm Shannon DeFranza. I'm the Northeast Quad Director and Liaison to the task force, and our chair, Jillian Bauman from NJIT. If you want to say hi.
Welcome. Thanks so much for coming.
Awesome. So we're just going to introduce ourselves as a task force. We have Jillian, our chair, me, the board liaison, and then we are made up of students from the membership. So Kira Byrne from Roger Williams, Lydia from Cal Poly SLO, Haley from Bowling Green State, Kristen from Cal Poly Pomona, Aubrey from UT Knoxville, Zeke from NYIT Old Westbury, Kaylee from UNLV, and Anna from Montana State. So we are a task force ready to go and excited. This is what we've been working on this year. Every committee in the organization is given a set of charges, and that is kind of the scope of what we work on in a year, and also are given deliverables. But the charges are overall the goals that we work towards. So these are ours for the year: defining, advocating for, and supporting sustainable and resilient practices, keeping the AIS accountable. We're looking to, and you'll hear about this more, charge the AIS with a sustainability commitment, review our best practices. Just a reminder, if you are not speaking, please mute. And then also, we are breaking down topics of sustainability and working with the other task forces on this call to create Advocacy Month. And you saw that this current month. So yeah, Jillian, if you want to talk kind of a bit about what we've been doing, just defining a bit about sustainability in our own words.
So just some of our ideas coming for sustainability is, what do we think about it and how it means to us, and trying to use our own words on making an actual change and creating discussions. So if you just want to read this real quick, it's a lot to say over. But a really good recap of what we've all been talking about is just that it's forward thinking, that it's really important to our future and to our present day. And we need to start meeting these requirements now, and the importance of really understanding that we're building towards something when we're talking about sustainability and resiliency. We're not solving the past's problems. We're not solving today's problems. We're solving problems for generations to come.
Yep. So again, some of the work we've been doing, we've been working with the other task forces and the advocates to maintain Advocacy Month, which is what you're seeing right now. And part of that is working with the Advocacy Instagram. If you are not currently on it, someone's going to put it in the chat, but at AIAS_advocacy, and you can see some of the work we've been posting. So I just put a few of the posts that we've had. So we've been addressing charge 5 with our content for Advocacy Month on the Instagram and in our blog post, breaking down the topics of sustainability and resiliency. So that ranges from environmental justice to individual things you can do every day. That's part of the It's Wednesday, my dudes, what can I do post we did. We've covered a bit of education about what sustainability and climate issues each quad and international region faces in the AIS. And we've also looked at some different softwares that help with sustainability and design. So we also look to showcase some of the work from individuals in schools. So you'll see some work from Montana State, UNLV, Roger Williams, UT Knoxville, really just the work that is happening at the schools of our committee members, because we really do want to showcase what our members and schools are bringing to the table. So speaking of bringing things to the table, we realize that as architects and architecture students, we don't know everything. So we really need to bring in outside perspectives on these topics. So we've already had 2 guest speakers, Kate Lawrence and Marcella Recker. And then next week, we're bringing in Mary Margaret Sindren of AIA Minnesota. And then after that, Michael, it's covering it, Michael Ross of UT Knoxville, all invited by our members or just seen at some conferences. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about our guest speakers, Jillian.
So Kate Lawrence was a great guest speaker. We had her back in fall, and she really helped us understand the perspective of the public sector and design. I feel like a lot of as designers and as architects, we really work within the private, but she really brought to the table of what it means to work in disadvantaged communities, to really bring design to the public sector, to the city scale. And then Marcella, who we just talked to last week, was also extremely informative. She explained to us the climate trends happening around the United States, which we also started to touch upon in our Advocacy Month posts. And also about the importance of biodiversity, that just bringing in different types of native plants to design and to landscape can completely change the entire idea behind our design. And it can really start bringing back native species that need these types of landscapes to live there. Absolutely. And as we go forward, yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say we're just very excited for the next guest speakers as well, to hear what they're bringing to the table, because so important to get other perspectives than our own. All right, so that brings us to the last slide. I'm just really showing you guys how we get work done on a committee. So this semester we broke into pairs to work on different aspects of our charges and deliverables. So we broke into pairs with social media. We've been researching how the different collaterals work on best practices and strategies for sustainability and resiliency. We've planned Advocacy Month. We're working on refining the best practices guide, and also looking at sustainability commitments of other groups to inform our own proposal. So from here on, now that Advocacy Month is starting to wrap up, we're looking at splitting into 2 groups to focus on the best practices guide and sustainability commitment. If you have not looked at the best practices guide yet, you should definitely do that. It's on the AIAS website. We also have in the AIAS Advocacy Instagram, if you swipe to, TV or IGTV, there's a video of me explaining how to use it, how to get to it, and how to understand it. We want all chapters to use this guide and challenge you guys to make a green game plan for your own chapter and for yourselves. So check out our work, and we're super excited to hear from you. If you have any questions, Slack us, and we are happy to talk to you guys about our advocacy work. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Shannon and Jillian. And if anyone does have questions, you will have the opportunity to talk with them and other members from the task force who are also on the call in breakout rooms after a couple more presentations. You can also feel free to send anything in the chat during these presentations if you have a question. I'm sure our presenters would love to answer those too. So next up, we will hear from the Social Justice Task Force.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cacavano. I'm the chair of the Social Justice Task Force, and we're super excited to be here and presenting our work. This works. Okay. So honestly, like we could not do half the things or 3/4 of the things that we do without our wonderful committee members and our board liaison. So the board liaison for us is Cooper Moore, the Midwest Quad Director, and then we have Christian of Howard University, Karina Youssef of Lebanese American University, Alexander of Cal Poly State University, Grace Madden of University of Tennessee, Knoxville, Juan of University of Texas at Arlington, Rachel at IIT, Cody at Drexel, and then India at University of Minnesota. And here are our charges. So I'm not going to read through all of these, but one of the things that we first started with was defining and advocating for and supporting the rights and needs of underserved and minority students. And that's held true through the entire year that we've been working together. We've really been trying to hit home on that. And also making sure that we're holding the AIAS accountable for and assessing its efforts and initiatives towards an equitable and diverse culture. We want to make sure that we're always kind of staying in check and making sure that we're the best that we can be. So like I said, one of our first charges was our thoughts on diversity. So our team got together and we just had a chat. We wanted to know what everybody's thoughts on diversity were. So here were some of the quotes that we kind of ran through and we got from our committee members. It was very apparent from the get-go that we were a very diverse body of students kind of bringing different diverse thoughts to the table, which is really important and I think the main point of our committee. So here are just a few quotes from our team of what they think diversity is and what diversity is to them. And then another one of our charges was making sure that we maintain the AIAS Advocacy Instagram and also made sure that we were representing all students. And so we have been posting on the AIAS Advocacy Instagram about every other week with a different theme every month, focusing on the representation of different people in the design profession. So our past themes have been Indigenous people. During Black History Month, we had India and Christian put together a slew of things and an incredible amount of stuff for you guys. And we also heard a lot from the membership on what they wanted to learn about Black History Month. So we were able to incorporate that as much as we could. And we look forward to many other themes that we have for the next few months of our time as a committee. And then of course, currently we're in Advocacy Month. So Advocacy Month has been a really great way to reach the membership and kind of chat with you guys about what you want to see and what you want to learn about advocacy. And this also helps us fill our charges relating to educating you guys and also us being educated by you. We've learned so much from your answers on the stories and also your comments. So some of the things that we've highlighted are advocating for yourself, advocating for someone else, and then also advocating for a cause. So it was really interesting to hear the times that people have advocated for others and also have been advocated for themselves. And then our very large charge that we've been working on, once again, from the get-go is our advocacy packet. So when most of us became college students, we didn't know a whole ton about advocacy. So I think that this is going to be a really great resource for all students. It's going to be an advocacy packet, and it's going to cover all sorts of topics regarding advocacy, and it's going to include tips and tricks on advocating, as well as a lot of thoughts from our membership. So stay tuned, and we will be releasing the packet at the end of the semester. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really looking forward to seeing that packet when it's finished. Can't wait to read through it and share it with all of our members. So last but not least, for our presentations tonight, would like to introduce the Learning and Teaching Culture Advisory Group.
Okay, can everybody see that? Are we good to go? Perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Colt Brock. Learning and Teaching Culture Advisory Groups are really long acronyms, so we're going to be using LTCAG, or really long names, so we're going to be using LTCAG tonight. But yeah, my name is Colt Brock. I'm currently chairing the committee, and I'm joined by, I hope Scott is here, but I'm joined by Scott Cornelius. I think he's
Scott's here.
somewhere.
Hello.
Perfect. Hello, Scott.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, I'm Scott Cornelius. I'm the South Quad Director and the liaison for the LTCAG. And then, of course, we have Colt, who's from Georgia Tech as our chair. And then some wonderful members. I don't know how many of them are here, but Annie Ringhofer is from the University of Kansas, Bailey Knoll from BGSU, Ellen Knight from University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Julia Barksdale from Northeastern, Irene Vu from UT Arlington, Margaret Morgenstern from Roger Williams, Nick Romero from the University of New Mexico, and Katrine Thomas from the University of Buffalo.
Yeah, so some of our charges this year, we've obviously been working on the amazing policy and model policy that Scott and past President Sarah Curry worked on over the last year, and we've been pushing that to students. We started the year off with working on collecting as many policies as we could and sort of starting to analyze them and sort of identifying where we can improve the model policy. Beyond that, obviously defining and advocating for members, organizing Health and Wellness Week. Welcome to Health and Wellness Week. If you haven't heard, we're in the middle of Health and Wellness Week. And then doing some intercommittee work to maintain the Advocacy Instagram account.
Yeah, so that model learning and teaching culture policy document that Colt referenced, it's currently out on the website. It's a fantastic resource to use for your own school's learning and teaching culture policy, just to make sure that it's well-rounded and including kind of all of the different aspects that a learning and teaching culture policy should include. So the model policy itself, it's not meant to replace your culture policy at all. It's just meant to be a platform for you to build off of. So it includes 9 different values that are kind of expanded on throughout the document. And I'll send the link to the full learning and teaching culture policy project packet, which there's lots of acronyms and lots of words to do with learning and teaching culture policies, but I'm learning to say them pretty well. So definitely I encourage everyone to go look over that document just really quickly and see what the values are that are included in there, and then compare it to your school's current document. So that's kind of what the original idea for the LTCAG was the entity that's encouraging people to use this document and pushing it into schools and making sure that we're maintaining positive culture, respectful culture, healthy culture within schools of architecture, which will then translate into the profession once we all get out there, you know. So this is a great opportunity for us as the committee to get this document out to more people and make sure that you're reading it. So please check out that link. And there's also some included within the packet, smaller one-pagers just about different topics within these same issues. So for instance, a resilient learning and teaching culture, there's a one-pager in there. And we created that actually after the pandemic had started. And so it's just kind of like, after the pandemic started, we were still working on this project and we were like, what does the world mean anymore? What's learning and teaching culture now? So we created that document kind of in reference to the new world order and just maintaining your culture policies and a positive culture through these issues that are going on. So we love the LTCPP and we want to see it used around the world. So check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, taking inspiration from our fantastic GovCom, right after all the programming we did for Forum, which I hope a lot of you were able to see. I'm sure some of you still have your frogs. I hope so, at least. We broke our committee into working groups and we really felt that there was too much. There was so much we wanted to do that trying to work sort of each of these at just kind of going in order was too much. So we broke into working groups. Bailey and Irene are our Health and Wellness group. They're the fantastic team that set up Health and Wellness Week and got all of our programming ready for that. Margaret and Katrine are working on our advocacy within culture and sort of trying to redefine advocacy and how you can push your model policy and your own pseudo culture policy forward. Nick and Julia have been really working to analyze our current setup with learning and teaching culture policies across the US. And then Annie and Ella have been working on some really great content on education accessibility, financial accessibility, and how we can really advocate as chapters for our membership.
And then the kind of fifth subject we've been focusing on as a committee is mental health. So this actually came up fairly recently in the life of our committee. In late October, we began to have these conversations more in depth about like what specific body or what specific person within the AIS is going to focus on mental health, who's going to like take on the brunt of this responsibility, because mental health, it's something that we've always encouraged people to talk about within the AIS, but that's not necessarily something we've taken action on or started creating resources for. So we wanted to really start pushing that agenda forward. So kind of as the whole committee, all of the working groups together, we've been focusing on mental health resources and mental health conversations. So that area, and we're really excited to just start this conversation and start to break down that taboo surrounding mental health and therapy and all the things to do with those issues, and to expand that conversation to other organizations, and then to see where this continues within the AIS and what the successor of the mental health conversation is next year. So if you've been following along on our advocacy month posting on AIS_advocacy this week, you'll notice that a lot of our posts revolve around mental health. And you know, while mental health is a part of learning and teaching culture policies, it's not the whole thing, but we've just been focusing so much on that because we've been having so many mental health issues over the past year, just as students and as a people. So we're really excited to see where this conversation goes, and we love any input and involvement that y'all want to have in this conversation.
Yeah, I think that is, no, one more, but yeah, also if Scott, if you want to drop it in the chat, if y'all do have tips or want to hear more, or want to chat about your own school's policy, you can email us. It's down here at the bottom, actually, ltc@aias.org, and that'll come into our committee, and we can set up calls or have a conversation after that. But yeah, like we mentioned, this is our Health and Wellness Week. Every night this week, we're having an event. And so tonight, actually, we are having a sort of casual mental health conversation, sort of immediately following this. But yeah, we hope you all be able to join us. But yeah, check out these. All of this should be posted on both the website and a blog post and on the Advocacy Instagram. But I believe this is officially the last slide. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Colton Scott, and thank you for all of the resources being shared in the chat. Definitely check out the mental health social after our Thrive webinar, and if you want to continue these conversations and if you're interested in their work. But you don't have to wait to ask your questions and engage in conversation with all of our amazing volunteers who serve on committees and lead them throughout the year. So next, I'm going to open up our breakout rooms where you can talk to our advocates and our committee members and engage in conversation and find out how you can get involved. If you have not served on a committee before, but you're interested in how, our next round of committees will be opening up over the summer around grassroots, so end of July. But if you want to know what that's like and what to expect, now's the time to ask your questions. And as we mentioned, the AIAS Advocates program applications will be due very soon on the 31st. So definitely take the opportunity to talk to our advocates. So I will open up the breakout rooms. And if you have the most updated version of Zoom, you should be able to place yourself in whatever breakout room you would like to join. If you do not have the updated version, please just send me a message and I will place you in the room you'd like to be in.